Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. So for today's pick a card reading, we're going to be looking into what you guys might not be appreciating about yourselves. So we have two piles, pile 1 and pile 2. Just take a second to decide what pile is really calling to you, and I will see you in your reading. Hello pile 1, welcome to your reading. So with the Hermit here, I'm feeling like this pile, you're probably more introverted. I feel like you guys really value your alone time. I feel like you guys are very deep thinkers, and you very naturally embrace this hermit energy of spending time by yourself and doing a lot of spiritual introspection. I think this is also something that's come naturally to you throughout your whole life. Like I think this is something you did when you were younger as well. People may tell you that you're an old soul or that you are wise beyond your years. Especially as you were a kid. I feel like people may have told you that. You may have been very mature for your age, or you may have had some very mature and deep thoughts or opinions for a kid. I feel like people have also tried to make you feel weird about yourself for this hermit energy that you carry, and for some of your thoughts and your ways of thinking, your ways of viewing the world. You're very tapped in spiritually, and you always have been. You've always been very intuitive. You've always had this very easy time embracing this hermit energy. And people have tried to make you feel weird about that. And I want to tell you guys that a lot of these people that have tried to invalidate the way you view the world, the way you feel, and your spirituality, or make fun of it, a lot of those people these people, they're seeing something within you that they don't have themselves and that they don't understand. And sometimes when people don't understand things, they might try to make you feel dumb or stupid because they don't understand it and they can't admit that. And they can't admit to themselves that they feel dumb, so they try to make someone else feel dumb. I feel like that's something that's happened to you quite a bit, especially in regards to your spirituality. I feel like whenever you've tried to share that, people have been quite invalidating towards it. But I really want you guys to know that those people that were deeply judgmental of you, they're seeing something in you that they don't have themselves and that they don't understand. And that's why they react that way, because they just don't understand. And like I said, when very controlling people, very insecure people don't understand something, they're often very quick to try to make you feel dumb. And you're not dumb. Your ways of thinking are very unique. They're very beautiful, very spiritual. So I feel like you've given up on sharing some of that stuff some of the time because of that. I feel like you don't understand that this hermit energy you carry, that you have such an easy time embracing, that it's truly a gift, and it's truly something you should appreciate a lot more. Maybe people invalidating you have made you feel like it's weird, or that you're just like you're just different. But I'm sorry, my cat's being a little distracting. And yeah, I feel like maybe some other people's opinions invalidating you have made you feel like this is not something to appreciate about yourself. But it really is. And I don't think you guys understand that this doesn't come easy to everybody else. because this has come very easy to you throughout your life, you may not understand that for some people, this hermit energy is very hard and it's very uncomfortable to embrace. There's some people who don't spend any time by themselves because they're afraid to go within themselves. They're afraid to feel. They're not very connected with who they authentically are. So they spend a lot of time just going out with others, looking for outside validation to distract themselves because they can't go within and they can't face themselves. It makes them uncomfortable. So you guys should know, pile 1, that this is something you should appreciate a lot more. Because not everyone can do this as naturally as you can. For some people, this is very uncomfortable. And I really get the feeling that you guys watching this, you don't understand that because it's so natural to you. One second, I'm gonna let my cat out. Sorry for the interruption. He was getting a little distracting. So yeah, I feel like you guys don't appreciate this because you may not even know it's something to appreciate. You've always been much more tapped in spiritually and much more connected to yourself and your authenticity than some other people have. And I think a lot of the invalidation that you've received from people, or even just the bullying, making fun of you for this, making fun of the things about you that might be a little different, like they're really seeing something within you that they don't understand. On some level, there might be some envy or jealousy there. On some, maybe they're not completely consciously aware of that, but on some level, that might be there. So really, don't let these people get to you. Don't let these people get to you. They're insecure and they're seeing something within you that they just don't understand. But you understand it. You understand it and you understand yourself. And that's what matters. I'm going to pull a few more cards for you guys, pile 1, and let's see what comes out. What else does pile 1 need to hear? Ten of Pentacles. The Devil. Let's do one more. What else does pile 1 need to hear? Four of Wands. I do feel like you guys, you might let other people hold you back a little bit because they don't understand you and they've invalidated you or made you feel weird about the way you see things, about how you feel your emotions and just who you are. And I feel like sometimes you guys might just be cautious not to be too isolated, you know? Don't isolate yourself from everyone just because some people suck, because not everyone sucks, okay? And also, I feel the need to say, some of you may have given up on trying to share certain things because you felt very invalidated. And I want you to know that I don't want you to give up on that entirely. It was just the wrong people. It was just the wrong people. The right people will appreciate you for who you are and how you think and how you see the world. They'll see the value that you bring. And they won't try to make you feel bad for it or stupid. I also feel like Sorry, I just need to think of the right way to put this together into words. I feel like you guys are quite grounded as well. Like, I feel like you've learned over the years how to use this energy a little bit better. I think you're still really learning. I'm still picking up that you're really learning and accepting these things about yourself. I could see some of you being like a spiritual teacher or like doing divination for others as well. But I feel like you guys maybe lack some of the confidence sometimes with that kind of thing. Not saying all of you, but some of you may be like tarot readers or do divination or astrology. Some of you may already do that. But I'm just feeling like this is something that you can help others with as well. The right people will really appreciate this energy that you carry and the wisdom that you carry. And they'll appreciate when you share it. So don't isolate yourself too much, because the right people will come in. The right people will come in, and then you can share it. I do feel like some of you guys are going to meet some new connections in the future that might be more spiritually fulfilling, because maybe you felt pretty isolated for a while, and for some of you there's some new connections coming in that will be more fulfilling on a spiritual level, and they'll listen to you and see you in a way that some other people have not really appreciated. But I feel like you guys, you have an ability to really see through things, to really, you're very connected with your authenticity, more so than a lot of other people are. I do feel like maybe you've seen this as a bit of a blessing and a curse at the same time. Maybe sometimes you've seen it as more of a curse, but I think you've started to appreciate it a little bit more, or hopefully you will. So I want to, where's that deck? Hold on. Oh, here we go. So I'm going to pull a few more oracle cards here and see what other messages we have for you, pile one. Luminous Vision. Let me pull one more and then I'll read them both. An Inner Whisper. I have a bright future. There are beautiful days ahead. I imagine my future infused with hope. This luminous vision guides my life path. I am on the right track. I'm just going to read this one, then I'll talk about it. I quiet my surroundings and listen within. I trust my inner whisper. That's a very fitting one to come out with the Hermit and the theme of this reading. Because that's something you guys can very much do. You can quiet your surroundings and listen within. And when it's saying, I trust that inner whisper, it's you trust your higher self. This light that is in the Hermit, the lantern, it's usually depicted as a lantern. It's your higher self. It's your authentic self, most authentic self. It's that inner light within, that inner whisper, as this card is saying. That inner whisper is speaking of that higher self consciousness that you're very in tune with. And I feel like you guys, you underestimate your ability to create the life you want. Like, you guys, if you really worked on it, you guys have such an ability to be able to manifest and create the life you want, because you're very connected and tapped in with yourself, and you have this ability to embrace this hermit energy where you can do that spiritual introspection. So I feel like you guys also underestimate your ability to manifest the life you desire. So with luminous vision here, I feel like you guys need to be a little more hopeful with that. I imagine my future infused with hope. This luminous vision guides my life path. I am on the right track. Yeah, be a little more hopeful about your future. And be a little bit more confident in the future that you can build for yourself. So to sum things up for you guys, pile one, what I think you don't appreciate about yourself is this hermit energy that you naturally have carried with you your whole life. And this connection to your higher self. And your ability to go within and to feel and to do this very deep introspection, to think very deeply about the world, about consciousness, and about existence. You guys contemplate these things all of the time, and you don't understand, you haven't given yourself credit for how gifted you are spiritually and how tapped in you are. I think you've not fully appreciated that about yourself. And some people have made you feel like it's weird, or that the way you see the world is weird. And it's not. Like, the way you see things is very beautiful. And like I said before, I feel like that message in particular is very important, so I want to say it again. Those people that try to make you feel bad for who you are authentically, and for sharing who you are authentically, sharing your spirituality, they're seeing something in you that they don't have and that they don't understand. And when they don't understand, they're trying to make you feel dumb because they don't want to feel dumb. So it's not something wrong with you, it's something wrong with them. It's insecurities within them that they're projecting onto you. So don't carry those anymore. Don't carry those worries about what those people will think. Because truly they're deeply insecure and they're deeply disconnected from themselves. They don't have that connection with their spirituality and their higher self in the way that you do. So trust yourself a little bit more. Trust that connection. And trust your ability to build and manifest the life you want more. You guys just underestimate yourself a lot. But anyways, I'm going to conclude the reading there. Thank you so much for listening, Pile 1, and be sure to like and subscribe if this reading resonated with you. Hello, Pile 2. Welcome to your reading. So I was kind of debating whether I even want to say this or not, but I'm going to go with it because I kind of feel like I'm supposed to. So a good way to really determine whether this reading is going to be for you or not is if you see this death card come out and it still makes you a bit nervous, if you see it as a good or if you see it as a bad card, if you see any of the tarot cards in the deck as good or bad cards in a black and white way, this reading is probably not going to be for you. And that's okay if it's not. Just wanted to put that out there. So the collective I'm reading for right now, I feel like you guys are very good at embracing change, and I feel like you guys you don't see energy as good or bad. You don't see the negative and the positive as good and bad. So you guys are also not going to see any of the cards in the tarot deck as being good or bad either. So, just use your own discernment to whether this is for you or not, and your own intuition. So, really getting into the reading for you guys. with this death card, I feel like this collective, you guys are people who are, you're very good at embracing change and transformation. You can let go of things that are not serving you because you understand that what's going to come in is going to be even better. You're able to see the totality of things, the full picture. You don't see energy as good or bad. You don't see the negative and the positive as good or bad. You see them as two sides of the same coin, right? They're completely interconnected, like yin and yang. It's a great symbol to really show how energy is just energy. The negative and the positive really are just one. They're unified at their core. And I'm really seeing that in this totality card here, because there's two acrobats on the side, and to me that's like representing the negative and the positive. And then there's this one woman in the middle, and she's connecting them. She is moving between them, and she's connecting them. So I'm seeing this dance of the negative and the positive, the feminine and the masculine here, and just the totality of it, the connection of it. Not just two separate things, right? There's this connection, and there's this active engagement and transfer and connection going on here in this card. You can see that movement. You can see the active movement going between the two sides here. And then also We Are the World. This is a card, this card gives me a feeling of connection. So I feel like you're able to see the connections between energy. You don't see it as good or bad, really. And I also feel like you've done a lot of work to get here. You've done a lot of work to get here. This did not come easily. I don't want to say it didn't come easily, but just you worked to get here. You worked, and you've done a lot of shadow work too. I can really feel that. You guys really do your shadow work. You still do. Yeah. And with the We Are the World card, I'm also seeing this as like representing like the collective unconscious, or I'll say like the collective shadow of humanity. So I feel like you guys, you're not just doing shadow work as in just like trauma and things that have happened with your individual life, but you're able to see the deeper connection, the totality, the full picture here, and you're able to really tap into the collective shadow of humanity. And since you are a part of the collective, you're able to see how the work you're doing, the shadow work you're doing, is not just about you and your individual life, but it's connected to everybody. It's connected to the collective consciousness of all humans. So I feel like that's something you're very aware of. That's something you're very tapped into. Like, for example, a huge part of the collective shadow of humanity is misogyny. Misogyny is very much rooted in the collective shadow, and it manifests in different ways in different people's lives and different cultures, but it's something that's within all of us collectively. Even if you are a woman who is a feminist, you still have internalized misogyny, right? Because it's a part of the collective shadow. You're a part of the collective, and I feel like you really understand that. That's just an example, but if you guys watching this are women, I feel like the idea of internalized misogyny is something you're very familiar with, something you've done some work on, some shadow work on. So yeah, you're very much able to tap into that collective unconscious, and you're able to see how the work you're doing on yourself, the shadow work you're doing, it's not just for you, it's for the entire collective. Changing yourself, it helps change the collective. Because you can't change what other people are doing. We can see all the issues in our world, in our collective shadow, and we can wish we could change it, but we can't. We can only change ourselves. We can only work on ourselves. So with the example of misogyny, we can see that in the outside world, in other people's behaviors, and we can feel all sorts of ways about it, and we can wish we could change it, and that's all valid. However, we can only change ourselves, right? And you really get that. You can see how the work you do on yourself, it's not just for you, it's for everybody. It's for the world, it's for the collective, right? And some of you, you may be really drawn to like the left-hand path, or more so occultism, that side of spirituality. I really do get that vibe from you guys. That would not surprise me whatsoever. Or if you haven't gone into that, that might be something for you to look into. I could see you guys really resonating with some of that, especially some more like left-hand path philosophies. So if that's not something you've looked into, I definitely encourage this pile to look into that a little bit if you're resonating with this message so far. But okay, what I want to get into the like main question for this reading, right? Which is, what do you not appreciate about yourself? And so for this collective here, I'm really getting the feeling that you sometimes don't appreciate how far you've come. Like, you guys are people, you want to be better, you want to change. You're constantly working on yourself, seeing what you can improve. What can you let go of? What can you bring into your life? And this is a great mindset to have. It's a great mindset to constantly be evolving and accepting change and growth. However, I feel like you guys might sometimes become too critical of yourselves. And you might forget to just take a second to slow down and look at yourself and take a second to really appreciate how far you've come. I feel like you guys really need to do that more. Because you can be a little overly critical of yourselves. Be very careful that this growth mindset of wanting to change, wanting to be better, doesn't turn into you being too critical of yourself and putting yourself down. Balance it out a little bit more, because it's not one or the other. You can appreciate where you're at, you can appreciate who you are and how far you've come, how much you've grown, and you can still work on the things that you can do better. I really like the saying, I'm doing my best, but I can still do better. So you guys that might be a kind of saying or a mantra or something for you guys to embrace a little bit more. There's just a need to appreciate where you're at a little bit more. Appreciate how far you've come, because where you're at right now, you in the past, this would have been, like, where you are right now, your past self would be so proud of you. So proud of you. So think of it like that. Just take a second to step back and just see who you are now from the perspective of your past self. Because I feel like your past self is really proud of you. Really proud of how far you've grown. And you get stuck sometimes being too critical of yourself, being too focused on what I need to be doing better, what I need to be changing, that you sometimes forget to take a second to really appreciate yourself and who you are and how far you've come. And that's a very important thing for you guys to learn and balance out here. So let's pull some more tarot cards for you guys and see what other messages we have for pile 2. Okay, one came out already. Page of Pentacles. I feel like those weren't supposed to come out. I don't know why. I didn't even see them, but the Hierophant. Oh, that one kind of flew. And the Devil. Yeah, I for sure feel like a lot of this pile, a lot of this collective, it's definitely, you could definitely be more so drawn to the occult side of things because you don't view things as good or bad, good or evil. Oh, sorry, let me move these up a little bit more. So I could definitely see you guys being drawn more to the left-hand path, or, the occult side of spirituality. I feel like you guys, I want to figure out how to put this into words. Give me a second. I think this knowledge that you've gained and this work you've done on yourself, it can really help other people as well. I feel like you've learned to communicate and express some of the lessons you've learned through your spiritual path in a very grounded and practical way, even to people who are very unfamiliar with spirituality and even the terms used. I feel like you guys are able to express these concepts in a very practical and grounded way for people. I think you're able to help people a lot in that regard. And it might not even be like you're like teaching them like spiritual concepts. It's just the way that you're able to frame and communicate these things. You're able to say these things in a way that even people who are very disconnected from spirit, very much trapped in their ego, even they can understand it. Even you can kind of break them out of it a little bit through your words, through the energy that you carry. And I feel like you also have an ability to like see through a lot of bullshit. Like you guys I think you can see right through people a lot of the time. I feel like you can see right into people's shadow, but you're not judgmental about it. I'm not getting like a judgy energy from you. Like I'm not feeling at all like you think you're better than other people. It just feels like you can see through them into their shadow. And maybe you're really able to help and use that ability to help them and really help get like channel and communicate a message in a very practical and grounded way that they will understand, even if they're very disconnected from spirit. Maybe that's something you don't appreciate about yourself too, is the way you can help others with what you've learned, and that the way you're able to communicate these things and ground this energy and bring it into a more practical, understandable form for other people. I think maybe you don't appreciate that about yourself too. Maybe you're not seeing that fully. Maybe that's something to tap into a little bit more. Okay, I have an oracle deck that I'm going to pull a few cards from, and we're going to see what other messages we have for you guys. Pile 2. Okay, yeah, that's I give myself permission to relax. Becoming my highest self requires planning time to rejuvenate. I am a wild pasture that grows and draws nutrients without toil. I laughed because the part of like the right off the beginning is like I give myself permission to relax. I feel like you guys don't do that sometimes. You don't give yourself permission to just sit and appreciate where you're at, how far you've come, because you sometimes get so focused on trying to improve. How can you grow? What else can you change? That you sometimes don't relax a little bit. That's why I laughed. It felt very fitting to the energy I was kind of channeling and what I was saying before. So becoming your highest self requires planning time to rejuvenate. Don't forget that part, pile 2, okay? Don't forget that part. Don't forget that part, that you're allowed to rest and you're allowed to plan time to rejuvenate yourself and to appreciate things. Okay? Don't forget about that. Let's pull one more and see what else we have for you guys. Feast of Gratitude. Okay, this is so fitting. I savor the sweet moments of life. I taste the beauty of my days, and my stomach is full of gratitude for every moment. It might be time to give a little bit more gratitude to yourself and appreciate yourself a little bit more. And appreciate and savor the moments rather than just trying to improve all the time. Appreciate the now. Appreciate who you are now. And I really think it could be very beneficial to you guys to take a look at your current self now from the perspective of your past self. See if that changes the narrative in your head a little bit, because if you're only looking at yourself from your perspective now, of course you're seeing all these things you can change and be better. But if you look from that past self, all of a sudden then you can see with much more clarity how far you've come and how much you've grown. And you can be a little more appreciative of yourself in that way. So give yourself time to rest and time to appreciate where you're at, rather than just trying to constantly improve. I mean, I'm not saying to not do that, but it's not mutually exclusive. Like, you can appreciate yourself, you can appreciate where you're at, and you can still want to change and grow. Those both can exist at the same time. I promise you they can. Okay? Yeah, I feel like that's really just the message I have for you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and if that resonated with you, please be sure to like and subscribe.